fighting that has already killed hundreds of civilians, President Zelensky said Ukraine should be allowed to join the European Union. I'm sure it's fair, he said during a televised address, adding he's sure Ukraine has showed it deserves it. Zelensky has expressed little hope the meeting in Belarus is going to end the conflict. Satellite images showed a 3-mile-long convoy of Russian artillery moving toward Kyiv.
The UN High Commissioner on Refugees says 500,000 Ukrainians have fled their homes as Russian troops moved in. Many more Ukrainians are standing and fighting. Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Mick Mulroy.
The Ukrainian people have shown that they will fight tooth and nail from their soldiers to their grandmothers against the Russians. I don't think they'll ever accept any kind of puppet government.
In Russia, the value of the ruble has dropped sharply, and the central bank has had to drastically raise interest rates to try and shore it up. ABC's James Longman in Moscow with more on what else the Russians will soon be feeling.
The sanctions are going to mean all kinds of changes to their regular lives. Car parts are now not going to be available for the cars they like to drive. Electronics, the price of electronics is really rocketing. One major department store has had to raise their prices by 30%. So things like iPhones may not even be available here in Russia.
In addition to that, UPS and FedEx have both said they are suspending all package deliveries to Russia. There is an emergency session of the UN General Assembly that will be held today on all of this. A new report from the panel on climate change for the United Nations says the world has an increasingly narrow window for action.
According to current commitments, global emissions are set to increase almost 14% over the current decade. That spells catastrophe.
Secretary General Antonio Guterres says the world is not on track to reach climate goals. You're listening to ABC News.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Jury selection starts today in the first trial of a person accused in connection with the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill. Guy Wesley Reffitt is charged with taking a gun onto Capitol grounds, interfering with police officers, and then threatening his teenage children if they reported him. Fencing is starting to go up around the Capitol ahead of tomorrow's State of the Union address by President Biden. During the speech, masks will be optional for those attending, but everyone will still be required to take a COVID test before entering the chamber. Optimism on the employment front from business leaders. Here's ABC's Daria Albinger.
A new survey says it should be a good year for job hunters.
About 317,000 net new jobs per month. That's still reasonably strong and historically much stronger than we've seen.
Brett Myers with the National Association for Business Economics says that's despite what experts call a wage price spiral due to inflation.
Workers, they see that their wage isn't going as far as it used to. They go to bargain for higher wages. That leads to higher price increases. And this is the sort of wage price spiral.
The jobless rate is expected to tick down to 3.5%. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
And negotiators get back to work in about 3 hours trying to reach a labor deal to end the Major League Baseball lockout. The two sides reportedly are still pretty far apart on issues ranging from pay to playoff games. The league says if there's no agreement by the end of today, it'll start canceling regular season games. This is ABC News.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now, we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the best.
We're going to see our warming trend pick up for this week, this afternoon. Look for high temperatures in the low to upper 50s and the lower 60s. Tonight, we'll dip into the lower 30s. We are likely to see highs even warmer tomorrow with a lot of sunshine. We're going to head into the low to upper 60s to 70s, moving in by the time we head into Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now we're 31 degrees, a beautiful, great getting up morning here in the foothills. Our warmest day this week looks like it's going to be Thursday, March 3rd. Sunny skies with highs around 74, but we'll have some wind gusts up to about 13 miles per hour. That wind has been a factor all month of February. Now that we're into March, look out wind. Here it comes again. Today's high expected to be around 59 and west-southwest wind to 5 miles per hour today, 31 degrees. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to hour number 2 of our morning wake-up call right here on WCAB. Now I have these death announcements. William Carl Hyder, age 82 of Boston, died Friday, February 25th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. The funeral service will be held 3 o'clock Tuesday, March 1st in the Pageant and King Chapel, with Reverend Rhonda Blackburn and Reverend Jason Madison officiating. Military honors will be accorded on the lawn of the chapel following the service. The family will receive friends from 2 until 3 o'clock prior to the service at the mortuary. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements and online guest registry available at pageantking.com for William Carl Hyder of Boston. Willie Mae Flynn, 71 of Forest City, passed away Tuesday, February 22nd at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. Graveside services will be held 2 o'clock today at Shingle Hollow Congregational Holiness Church Cemetery with Reverend Jack Crane officiating. Miss Flynn will lie in state 30 minutes prior to the service. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Willie Mae Flynn. Evelyn Butler Showles, age 92 of Bostic, died February the 18th at Fairhaven Home of Bostic. A memorial service will be held at 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, March 5th at Florence Baptist Church with Reverend Dr. Bobby Gann officiating. The family will receive friends from 10 until 10:45 prior to the service in the sanctuary of the church. Burial will follow in the Cool Springs Cemetery. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements and online guest registry available at www.pageantking.com for Evelyn Butler Showers. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. Complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on WCAB in Rutherford. Well, as we prepare ourselves for the morning report, let's look at this note. Many folks are concerned and anxious and in prayer for Ukraine. People in Nashville gathered Saturday afternoon in support of Ukraine as Russia's incursion into the sovereign nation hit close to home for many people. Ukraine is thousands of miles away from Asheville, but folks gathered to show their support and solidarity for the people of Ukraine, many of them having relatives there as Russia's invasion continues. Everybody has to get involved because Putin is not a president. He's a dictator, according to some of the folks in Asheville. The rally combined a call for peace and prayer over Ukraine as well as support for the country. Many folks are asking what they can do. The best thing to do probably is gather together as friends and family and pray. We have folks from right here in Rutherford County that are missionaries over there, and we're going to do our best to try to reach in contact with them and talk with them, get first-hand report from them. But in the meantime, you as an individual, you as a church group or Sunday school class, can spend time in prayer for the people there in Ukraine because they're facing a really tough battle with that Russian dictator, Putin. So do what you can to support them. If you have friends and family over there, please encourage them and let them know that friends back here in America in Rutherford County are supporting them through our prayers and thoughts. The Bill O'Reilly Morning Update coming up next, right here from WCAB's Morning Report.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer steady monthly payouts plus double-digit annualized returns. Start your due diligence at NRIA.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at NRIA.net.
On this Monday, Mardi Gras celebrations begin today in selected cities all over the world. Tomorrow is Fat Tuesday, then Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent. In New Orleans, Mardi Gras was invented by an explorer named Pierre Le Moyne in the year 1699. Old Pierre held a small gala about 60 miles downriver from the Big Easy, which back then was the Big Nothing. It didn't exist in 1699. There were a few traders, but no Canal Street or Bourbon Street. Through the centuries, Mardi Gras has developed into a money machine, which often happens in America. Let's see, we got Halloween, we got Valentine's Day, we got Christmas, now we got Mardi Gras. It is always about the dollars. The point of Mardi Gras is to have some fun. And I hope you don't abuse that as many Irish do on St. Patrick's Day. Not just Irish. People get out on St. Patrick's Day, they get blasted, inebriated, and not good things happen. So I hope that doesn't happen in Mardi Gras. But the point of it is to have some fun, because on Ash Wednesday, penance begins. That is the season of Lent. So let the good times roll, as they say in New Orleans. And thank you, Pierre. Now this. A good night's sleep is vital. That's why I personally recommend Cozy Earth sheets made from super soft viscose. It's like sleeping on a cloud. They're also temperature regulating, so you sleep comfortably year-round. And my audience can now save 35% on Cozy Earth bedding. Please go to CozyEarth.com/Bill and save 35%. Hurry, offer ends soon. That's CozyEarth.com/Bill. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This is WCAB 100.9 FM and 590 AM, serving Rutherford and Polk counties.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Pass it on.
Imagine a lady who wouldn't give up her seat on the bus, a TV host who wanted to be your neighbor, or an inventor whose 10,000 failures didn't stop him. These vivid images all share the same caption: inspiration. These people just did their best, and they inspire us. Now, what will you do to inspire others? Inspiration is in you. From PassItOn.com.
Following the Mexican War of 1848, the United States not only acquired the southwestern territories, it also acquired a more northern area that was occupied by Ute, Arapaho, and Cheyenne. Some Anglos had visited that area, but because of its ruggedness, they didn't stay long. Then in 1851, farmers started moving into the area and found the land good for raising crops. And in July of 1858, some miners found gold in the foothills of a mountain named after explorer Zebulon Pike. When the word got out, it was Pike's Peak or bust. Within 9 months, 50,000 men lined the streams of the area. When a stream would play out, the miners moved on, creating new towns overnight. A town located on the plains named Denver became their supply point. Although the miners' plan was to get rich and then return east, they wanted some semblance of law and order to protect their claim. So they formed a simple government structure centered on a miners' court. But it didn't have any real legal authority. even though it was obvious the area should become a territory and U.S. law established there. Congress was unable to do anything about it. The Southern politicians blocked every move. They were afraid the new territory would become an area free of slaves. Then in 1861, the South seceded from the United States and the opposition went with them. So on February 28, 1861, Congress took pieces of Nebraska, Wyoming, Utah, and New Mexico and established a rectangular piece of land called the Colorado Territory. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. And now, the new beer-battered fish sandwich. All come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Congratulations to Jesse James Railroad Express, voted 2021 Best of Rutherford County hot dogs and hamburgers 5 years in a row.
All right, let's get started now as we go to the phones and find out what's been happening over the weekend. And we check first with the Sheriff's Department, and Officer King is on the phone to give us that update. Good morning, Officer King. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing today, Jim?
Doing well, thank you. It's going to be another beautiful week, I believe.
Yes, sir. Hopefully some of that rain will stay away.
Yes. What's on the report for the weekend?
In the past 48 hours, Sheriff's Department responded to 313 calls for service. There were 21 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 153 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Daniel Matos from Hunting Drive in Rutherford reported larceny from a motor vehicle. Carol McHenry from Gold Medallion Drive in Bostic reported larceny of a motor vehicle. Margaret Rollins of Rome Court in Morrisboro reported larceny of motor vehicle parts. And Alvin Yelton from Eastview Drive in Bostic reported obtaining property by false pretense. On our arrest reports, Michael Young from Hines Road in Morrisboro was arrested and charged with possession of a stolen motor vehicle, received a $10,000 unsecured bond. Amanda Mann from Raven Lane in Forest City was arrested and charged with possession of a stolen motor vehicle and simple possession of a Schedule III controlled substance, received a $10,000 unsecured bond as well. Jimmy Robinson from Aldrich Drive in Chesney was arrested, served with a failure to appear, and also served with a probation violation, received a $500 secured bond. Joshua Jackson from Hogan Road in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Christian Weathers from High Peak Drive in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on a felony, received a $10,000 secured bond. Floyd Tate from Farmside Drive in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Christina Crosby, listed as homeless, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, was charged with possession of a stolen motor vehicle and felony flee to elude with a motor vehicle. No bond listed on that one. Robert Owensby from Williams Road in Rutherford was served with a warrant for communicating threats and second-degree trespass, received a written promise to appear in court. Gary White from White Drive in Rutherford was served with a failure to appear, received a $10,000 secured bond. Anthony Melton from McSwain Road in Forest City was served with 3 counts of failure to appear on felony and 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $60,000 secured bond. Christine Weber from Cove Road in Rutherford was served with a warrant for second-degree trespass. No bond listed on that one. David Hollifield from Piney Mountain Road in Ellenboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 secured bond. William Barnard from Crestview Street in Rutherford was served with 3 counts of failure to appear on a felony and 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor. Received a $22,500 secured bond. And a Catherine Roof from Elk Drive and Ellenboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor and received a $500 secured bond. And that's all we have for today.
Officer King, thank you very much. A busy weekend, it sounds like. Appreciate you being with us today. You be safe out there.
Thank you, Jim. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. 20 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday morning as we wrap up another month, closing out this one with short days. This is 28th day of February. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled A-R-Y-E-E. Tax season is here, so why not let A-R-Y-E-E, IE Accounting and Tax Service, give you some peace of mind. Now here's Tina at 911 Communications Center with our morning report. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. In the past 48 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 746 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 112 for EMS, 313 for the Sheriff's Office, 119 for Forest City, 68 for Rutherford, 5 for Lake Lure, 93 for Spindale. Under fire calls, we had Cliffside respond to a brush fire. We had Forest City respond to a motor vehicle accident and a fire and residential fire alarm. Under Lake Lure, we had them respond to a structure fire with Bills Creek, Chimney Rock, and Fairfield assisting. We had Sandy Mush respond to a structure fire with Ellenboro, Cliffside, and SDO assisting. We had Spindale respond to 2 structure fires with Rutherford and Hudlow assisting. And we had Union Mills respond to a structure fire with Green Hill, Rutherford, Shingle Hollow, and Bills Creek assisting. And that's all we had.
Thanks so much. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
UNC had a good day over at NC State on Saturday. They beat them 84-74 UNC. Now UNC goes up against Syracuse tonight, and we'll have that game for you. 5:30 pregame, and we'll join that pregame following the call-around news report this evening. And then the tip-off is at 7 o'clock tonight. Here's Ruby Taylor now reporting from Danieltown, SDO 5 District. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, the fire department assisted Sandy Mush on a structure fire. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Catherine Beam having birthday and hope she has a nice day. And the signs are in the legs today and going to the feet tomorrow. Jim, that's all I have.
Thanks, Ruby. Enjoy your day.
You too, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Your income tax refund is on its way, and for that new vehicle you've been wanting, well, it's waiting for you at A1 Auto Sales and Service on South Main Street in Rutherford. They offer clean titles, do a search history on each vehicle on the lot. They offer a 120-point inspection check. A1 offers outside financing and buy here, pay here. Plus, they have their own professional service department with 20 years experience, up-to-date diagnostic equipment, and they offer mechanical paint and body work, insurance appraisal, and they are GM Senior Master Technology Certified. Visit them today, 518 South Main Street in Rutherford, or call 828-829-5877.
Here's Gary Wilson now reporting to us from up in the Fairfield Fire District, Bills Creek area. Gary, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. A couple of calls over the weekend, but everything else went on pretty good. And dispatched a structure fire over the weekend over at Lake Lord Girl Scout Camp Road. Ended up being a chimney fire, I think, so we were canceled on that one. Lake Lord took care of that. And then we called overnight here last night and sitting on about 30 degrees for a low this morning. It's back up to 32 now. I was wondering if there might be some black ice out there somewhere. Any of these roads just got a little dampness left on them. It got down below freezing, but I heard no reports of anything. So
I wouldn't be surprised at all. The ice on the winch, my winch this morning was solid. It wasn't easy to scrape. It was really solid. So.
Looking at the roads, they look like they're pretty dry, but there's still a lot of these north banks where they'll be damp, so I'll be careful going in for a while. If the temperature gets up a little warmer, just still on the safe side, but no calls overnight, and had good, slow, steady rain off and on most of the day yesterday, and up till dark last night it cleared off. And everything's good to go this morning, and hopefully be a quiet week for everybody. Everybody be safe out there today. Enjoy yourself.
All right, Gary. Thank you so much, very much. You behave yourself up there and be careful, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, talk to you then.
All right, bye.
Hey, folks, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse-quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherford.
Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. Now at 27 past 7, we're going over to Bostic Fire Department, Fire District, and talk with DeVern and see everything was quiet over the weekend, DeVern, was it?
It was very quiet over the weekend.
Good.
We have a temperature of 34 degrees over here this morning, but I think we're supposed to have some nice days this week. I'm looking forward to that. Fire department had no calls, but they have their meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. If you're interested in joining, or make sure you attend this. And Washburn store will reopen Tuesday. Remember Miss Ann and her family. Stop by and get one of her delicious sandwiches. We have two birthdays, Tammy Culler and Gene Hunt. And Gene Hunt is a Bostic fireman. We want to wish them a happy birthday and hope everyone has a wonderful day.
You have a good one, too, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Now here's Bob Hodge. He's over in the Hudlow Fire District with our report today. Bob, how you doing?
We're doing just fine up here on this pretty Monday morning.
It'll be a nice day, I believe.
Yeah, that sun's come up bright. The last day of February here.
So. We got shortchanged a couple of days in February, didn't we?
That's right. February's a short month. It passes fast, don't it?
Yes, it does.
Oh, Tomorrow's the first day of March, yeah. Maybe we'll get some pretty March weather this week.
That sure would be nice. I believe it's looking forward to that right now. It looks like we're going to get up to in the 70s on Thursday, I believe it is.
Yeah, boy, that feels good, won't it?
74.
That make them grass come up and them flowers start blooming there.
Yes.
And Jim, up here with the fire department, Saturday we answered Sister Spindale on a stretcher fire, and then we had a medical call. And then last night we had another call to Sister Spindale on a stretcher fire. And that's about it with the fire department. And everybody get out and enjoy this pretty sunny weather today.
Feel like springtime almost.
That's right. So you take care, Jim, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. You have a good day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bob Hodge reporting out of the Hudlow Fire District. Now, remember, Washburn Store is closed on Mondays. They will be reopening tomorrow. They've been closed for a few days in honor of the death of the family. We certainly continue to send our thoughts and prayers out to them in this loss. We know how serious that can be in a person's life. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and they will be reopening for regular scheduling on Tuesday morning at Washburn Store there between Bostic and Sunshine on the Bostic Sunshine Highway. Good folks over there, and keep them in your prayers and thoughts for a while to come. 31 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's head over toward the Cherry Mountain Fire District. Sue Price is on the phone. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Jim. I'm okay. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Well, good. Looks like we're going to have a beautiful day.
I believe so.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Last day of February. Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from our fire department. I guess they've been quiet, but it sounds like there's been a lot going on at the other ones. But I have no birthdays on my church calendar today. On my personal calendar, I got Rebecca Swink and Pastor David Ledford. And, of course, David is the pastor up at Fairview Baptist, so he's on their list, and also Jacob Elton. So hope these folks will all have a good day, and we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And I don't have any announcements that I know of, Jim, so it's just quiet this way, and we're looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thank you. I hope you have one as well, and I will check back in with you next month.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
All right, let's head up to Shingle Hollow Fire District with the Piney Knob Church community, and Tina White's on the phone to give us the news from the weekend. Tina, how you doing this morning?
I am doing so well on this marvelous Monday. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing so well on this marvelous Monday.
It's a beautiful day, but it's 31 degrees cold out there. Went out to feed the rabbit, and I think the rabbit may have had frost on its back.
Oh, no. How many rabbits do you have?
No.
You just have one rabbit?
Yeah, I just have one, and he is so sweet. And he's not mine. He's Nevaeh's, but she is away this morning, so I had to take care of.
Do you ever let the rabbit in the house?
I have, yeah.
Are they pretty good
it's
pets?
Yes, I love the little. Well, he's getting bigger. This rabbit's very friendly and so loving and soft and fun to watch as he hops around.
Yeah.
But he stays outside most of the time. But when it was down at 19 degrees, I said, let's bring him in. And, boy, she loved that.
Yeah, I'll bet. And my grandsons have pet rabbits. They have a rabbit of each of their choice, and they pet those babies, and they treat them just like they're little kittens.
Yeah, they're very the Skitter's very sweet. Well, I had an exciting weekend. Saturday, I was in West Virginia, in Welch, West Virginia, helping with some missions, taking some food and some supplies that people have donated and clothing and stuff like that, and such a blessing it was to see. The need is heartbreaking, but to see them, people just light up, and they're not, I've heard that sometimes people come in and try to just take it all. Was these people went through the clothes and stuff like that, they would lay something back down and say, well, somebody else might need that. Oh, just touched my heart.
That's great. That's great.
But on the way home yesterday, it was early afternoon. We got to Horn Mill Road, and there was a mobile home on fire, and it just smoke coming out, and a lady running around in the yard with a child, I'd say probably less than a year old, and she was flagging us down. They didn't have a phone. They were saying call 911, so we tried to hang around till the fire department got there, but I'm so thankful. The adrenaline rush that I had just from trying to help hold a child.
Sure.
And as they were saying, don't go back in the house, don't go back in the house. But the fire department, my hat's off to you. I'm so grateful for what they do, because it saves lives, and I'm just very thankful for them.
So everybody got out safe, nobody was injured?
Everybody got out safe. The home was a total loss, but there was no injuries, and we're so blessed to have people who volunteer on a Sunday afternoon when they could be spending time with their family to go help others. Yeah. I'm just very thankful.
Yes, absolutely.
And we watched the Daddy Sisters on Facebook at Piney Knob Baptist Church. We watched the service on the way back home, and what a blessing it was at Piney Knob yesterday. If you missed it, you missed out.
Well, they're little young girls, aren't they? Little young girls. I've never seen them. But
yeah. I'm hoping to bring a CD by this morning, and their pictures on the front, so you'll get to see them.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Well, the fire department assisted Union Mills yesterday with that mobile home fire. It's 31 degrees. I don't know if I said that already out here on my carport this morning. And birthdays, we only have birthdays on Piney Knob this morning, not on Pleasant Grove or Pilgrim Way. But Tina Hill and Michael Birch are on Piney Knobs, and I hope they have a wonderful birthday. No big announcements except, well, I guess this is pretty big. Next week, March 7th, starts the revival at Pilgrim Way Baptist Church, the 7th through the 11th, 7 p.m. nightly. I think that's going to be something refreshing for people to go take part of, to worship. And that's all I've got this morning that I know of.
All right, Tina, I'm glad you had such an exciting, inspirational weekend. Thanks for sharing that with us, and you have a wonderful day.
You all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next month.
I'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.
It's 7:38, 31 degrees.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
Thanks, Andrew. And you can hear Andrew in live in person on Tuesday mornings right here in the Blue Room with Making Sense of Our Investing. Now let's head up toward Union Mills and get the Kelly report from Brenda. Kelly. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning, Mr. Bishop. How are you on this magnificent Monday morning?
I'm so happy I wish it was Monday.
the last day of the month and all that.
That's right. That's right.
If you're going to get anything done in the month of February, you just got a few more hours to do it in.
Better hustle today because it's about over.
That's exactly right. We'll be into March Madness.
Yeah, I just can't believe 2 months are already gone this year.
I know. Well, I always say what everybody said, Happy New Year, Happy New Year, and I'll say, yeah, and Merry Christmas too, because it'll be here before we know it.
That's right. I expect the stores to put up their Christmas decorations any time now.
Soon as Valentine's is over. But we hope everybody's having a good morning. I've got 26 degrees on the front porch. I don't have but one birthday today, and that's Chuck Radford. So, Chuck, I hope you have a great old big day on your special day. And in ways of announcements, Friday, March the 4th, Music at the Mills. Homegrown will open for Wiregrass Mill at 6 p.m., music at 7 p.m. There's no cost for the music, but they do have a tip jar available for the band. And other than that, I don't have anything else. That's all I know of going on up here.
All right, Brenda, thanks so much for being with us on this Monday. And like I said, I'll see you next month.
I'll catch you later.
See ya.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Now here's Luther Gilligan reporting from Ellenboro, North Carolina. Good morning, Luther.
Good morning. Hope you're having a good day.
My day's off to a great start. I didn't even believe it was Monday. Things went so smooth this morning.
Yeah. You didn't realize it's Monday. Say, hey, I got to go again.
That's right.
Blew to another weekend. But it's nice. Morning this morning, sun shining, clouds mostly clear. It's going to be a good day. It's about 38 degrees now, so things going to warm up directly. It's nice. Let's see, fire department they had 3 medical calls, had 1 fire investigation, they had 1 vehicle fire. They went down to assisted Sandy Medical construction fire down there, but they're quiet this morning, nothing going on with them. Everybody's just trying to get their gas and their biscuits and head on out to work, so you have a good day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. You have a great day as well.
Take care now.
Bye. And that's the Ellenboro report. We wrap it up with that call to Ellenboro. Now we open the door for birthdays and anniversaries. We've had a couple already checked in with us this morning. Now, if your birthday is today, last day of February, call us now. Or if it was the 29th, if you were born on the 29th, you were a leap year baby, we'll celebrate your birthday today as well. So let us know that, and we'll give you a big birthday shout out as well. Call 287-3356. 287-3356, birthdays and anniversaries coming up next.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Well, I'd invite you over for breakfast to Granny B's this morning, but they are closed on Mondays. But they'll be back tomorrow morning, and so we'll have breakfast over there sometime. They open as early as 6:30, start breakfast at 7 o'clock, and you can enjoy a full breakfast there at Granny B's every Tuesday through Saturday. So why don't you enjoy making your plans to enjoy your breakfast tomorrow morning? Meanwhile, if after breakfast, if you like to have a donut, they've got plenty of those daylight donuts, and they also have those delicious sub sandwiches. Man, are they good. Yeah, they are. That's Granny B's there in Spindale, right on Main Street, right next door to the Shake Shop. Now, hit it, guys.
Happy birthday.
Well, I'd like to wish happy birthday wishes going out this morning to the Mulfer Man. Mulfer Man is having a birthday today. Dave Lauder, 70th birthday. Mulfer Man, 38 years of Cowan Tower Band. Bobby Hollifield in Boston also celebrating birthday number 54. Bobby Hollifield. Alice Reed having a birthday. And so we wish him a second happy birthday. He turns 70. Other birthdays today include Charles Dunning. He's an actor, born in 1922. 1923, died in 2012. 1931, Gavin MacLeod, he was an actor. He was born in 1931, died in 2021. He was the skipper of the Love Boat, wasn't he? 1909, First National Women's Day observed in the U.S. First National Women's Day observed in the U.S. 1909. 1924, U.S. begins interventions in Honduras. 1933, first female in U.S. cabinet. 1940, first televised basketball game. 1977, first killer whale born in captivity. 1983, the final episode of MASH airs, drawing 125 million viewers. 1991, the Gulf War ended. And other events on today: Rare Disease Day, National Chocolate Souffle Day, National Floral Design Day, and National Public Sleeping Day. Oh, National Tooth Fairy Day. All those things happened to date on this date. And now you're up to date on this date in history here on WCAB.
The music's on us on WCAB.
Walter Payton, the great running back for the Chicago Bears, was playing in a Monday night game against the New York Giants. The announcers of the game were noting that Payton, during his career, had rushing yardage of over 9 miles. One of the other announcers then added, "Yeah, and that's with someone knocking him down every 4.6 yards." Life isn't always easy. Just ask Walter Payton. He wanted to accomplish a lot more, but a whole lot of people did their best to stop him. And after an average of 4.6 yards, he had to pick himself up and try it again. You may feel hemmed in, pursued, and frequently knocked down. To get up and try again is too discouraging. You figure, what's the use? But quitting is not necessarily the answer. Walter Payton would never have gotten his name in the record books had he quit after a few tries. You may have a wife, husband, or children depending on you. They need you and are looking to see how you will handle the current situation. They know you have been knocked down, but they want you to get back up and go on. They are urging you not to quit. The Bible says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS or visit our webpage at bwb.net/keys.
This is WCAB 100.9 FM and 590 AM, serving Rutherford and Polk counties.
Zelensky is still going ahead with peace talks being held this hour in Belarus. The world has been watching as his country has mounted a stiff resistance to invading Russian troops. ABC's Ian Pannell has the latest from Kyiv.
President Zelensky addressing the nation, claiming thousands of Russian troops have been killed, saying Ukrainians have shown who we are. Russia has shown what it has become. Potential peace talks as a Ukrainian delegation meets with Russian officials on the Belarus-Ukraine border. While Zelensky says it's likely they'll fail, he wants his people to know he'll always try for peace, even if there's little chance.
ABC's Aaron Katursky is in Lviv, Ukraine, with more on what the UN says is a refugee crisis unfolding.
The United Nations now says more than 500,000 Ukrainians have crossed an international border to flee the invading Russian forces. Hundreds of civilians have already been killed in the fighting, and we've seen the desperation and weariness on the faces of those trying to board a train or find a ride to a different country. Nastia among them.
Thanks to my friends, I will move from Poland to Prague, and there my company, my colleagues, they will help me.
Her plan is more theory than reality as she waits by her suitcase in the cold outside the train station here. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, Lviv.
In Moscow, international sanctions have sent the value of the ruble plummeting, and the central bank has had to raise its benchmark interest rate to 20% from less than 10% to try to shore it up. For only the 11th time since 1950, an emergency session of the UN General Assembly will be held later today on all of this. A Texas man charged with storming the Capitol on January 6 goes to trial today. He's the first defendant to face a jury, and his case is seen as a kind of bellwether for the other similar cases. Guy Wesley Rutherford is charged with carrying a gun on Capitol grounds, interfering with police, and threatening his own teenage children if they reported him to authorities. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
A fresh look at climate change from the UN today.
Today's IPCC report is a atlas of human suffering and a damning indictment of failed climate leadership.
Secretary General Antonio Guterres says we are just left with only a very small window to try to slow the effects of climate change on the world. More COVID mask mandates are being dropped. New York's governor dropping the statewide school mask mandate starting Wednesday, now leaving the decision up to local districts. Another automaker forced to shut down production because of supply chain issues. Toyota turning off the assembly lines at its 14 Japanese plants starting tomorrow. A supplier that delivers parts used everything from the air conditioning to exterior, says the man may have been hit with a cyber attack, forcing it to stop production. And in California, people are literally lining up to see the dentist.
In Fresno, California, a reason to smile literally. The Willow Dental Group doing its 9th annual Dentistry of Hope event.
We want people to be touched in a way that's, beyond just their care. It gives people hope.
Anika Anderson says each patient got to choose between a free cleaning, filling, or extraction.
It's a blessing. Yeah, I appreciate the doctors.
Reethi Real got there at 4 a.m. to secure his spot, but he said waiting in line was nothing to get a tooth extraction worth $400. Lionel Moise, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We'll continue to watch for a few spots of patchy fog, and we are going to see that clear out very quickly. And sunshine will be in full effect for today. It's also going to be a little bit milder out there. Heading into the low to upper 50s for much of the area. Some spots to the south could reach the lower 60s with highs tomorrow in the low to upper 60s. We're talking about the 70s by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We are just at the thawing mark, 32 degrees right now, but we'll be warming up nice now that the sun is coming out. We're getting up to about 59 for a daytime high. Sunny skies all day today with a west-southwest wind about 5 miles per hour tonight. Mostly clear, and we will be dropping back a little bit to our colder temperature around 34, but not into freezing, I don't believe. And it looks like our warmest day this week is going to be Thursday with highs around 74. Beautiful spring-like weather this week and beautiful, beautiful skies. Right now, let's head to the phones and find out from Anita where the jobs are. Good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How about you? Did you have a good weekend?
I had a beautiful, good weekend. It did enjoy the rain a little bit because I like a little bit of rain once in a while, but don't like to be closed in all the time. How about you? Do you have a good one?
Yeah, we did too.
Good.
But I'm like you. I'm okay with the rain when we need it, but, there's also times when it's like,
I like to be outside.
Go away for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we got a safety supervisor up in Rutherford, and that pays dependent on experience. They do require a bachelor's degree and 7 years. We have a manufacturing technician in Rutherford that requires a high school diploma and 3 months experience. The pay is $19.22 to $23 an hour. We have a supply chain manager that is in Rutherford that requires an associate's degree and 5 years experience. That pay is dependent on experience. We have an electronics technician in Rutherford that requires an associate's degree and 5 years experience. That pay is anywhere $23 an hour to $31 an hour. A maintenance technician up in Rutherford that requires an associate's degree as well, 5 years experience. That pay is $20.67 an hour to $27.55 an hour. An assembler up in Rutherford, that's a high school diploma and 3 months experience, $14.81 to $19.75 an hour. A value stream team leader in Far City, that's a bachelor's degree and 3 years experience, but the pay is dependent on experience. We have an income maintenance caseworker out in Spindale that requires a high school diploma and 3 years of office experience, $31,685 a year. We have an income maintenance caseworker 2 in Spindale that also requires a high school diploma and 3 years experience. We have the pay there is $34,667 a year. A social worker 1 out in Spindale that requires a bachelor's degree and 4 years experience. That pay starts at $47,495 a year. A Class CDL, Class A truck driver out in Bowling Springs, South Carolina. They would like you to have a high school diploma and a year's experience as a truck driver. The pay is dependent on experience. A cycle count auditor out in Spindale. That's a high school diploma and a year's experience. The pay depends on the experience. We have a production and harvest worker in Tryon. They're not requiring experience or education, but if you have some, the pay is dependent on experience. Also, tomorrow they're having a hiring event for the Department of Public Safety out at the prison. That is 10 to 1. I think. Oh, and then this Wednesday, we're in our office. We have an employer here, also from 10 to 1, that will be here at our office at 223 on Charlotte Road in Rutherford. For any of those other jobs, just give us a call at 828-286-3042. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Anita. You have a wonderful Monday and a good week, and we'll check next month.
All right, thanks, you too.
Bye-bye. And that's the report we have this morning. That's a little longer, more jobs out there than what's mentioned, but that's some of the ones that you can go to right now. And if you pass the drug test, you probably can get on wherever you want to go to work. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. News from here and there in just a moment.
Being
Shopping free means your connection goes where you go, from local favorites to faraway places. And with our Better Than Free event at Carolina West Wireless, you can save over $1,000 on our most popular smartphones with an eligible trade-in and when you bring your own number. Or take home a free Samsung Galaxy A12 smartphone and get an additional $150 in credits when you switch. Celebrate the freedom to take your service anywhere with a Better Than Free deal from Carolina West Wireless. Certain restrictions apply. See representative for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
You need an insurance agent you can talk to? Call Insurance Service Associates at 828-245-5301. We want to help you get the best out of your insurance dollar. As a trusted choice independent agent, we shop your coverage with several companies to give you the best value. More companies, better choices, best rate. Come see us at our new office at 245 East Main Street in Forest City or call us at 828-245-5301.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. There have been more information on the authorities that seized 23 horses and 17 goats from a Bostic farm. Daily Courier reported, special report from Larry McDermott. Rutherford County authorities seized 23 horses, 17 goats, and other animals at Paul's Ranch in Bostic on Thursday and charged owner Dolores Hunter, 63, with 11 counts of animal cruelty. Hunter posted a $10,000 bond and was released. The charges are misdemeanors. 2 horses had to be euthanized on the scene. Many of the others were taken away with visible signs of malnourishment and injuries. The arrest and seizure came after ongoing complaints and allegations that animals at the farm located at 330 Walls Church Road were not receiving adequate food and medical care. Rutherford County Sheriff Chris Francis issued a brief press release that provided few details, and Animal Control Manager James Kilgo was equally tight-lipped. Kilgo declined to answer questions about why the county failed to take action over the years when complaints about the farm were registered. Polk County's animal control officers assisted. Volunteers pulling 15-horse trailers arrived Thursday morning and spent 10 hours loading and taking horses to local farms where they will be held as wards of the county. Meanwhile, medical and nutritional treatments were begun almost immediately in an effort to save those animals. Mayor Adams, who owns and operates the sanctuary at Red Bell Run in Polk County, said this is one of the worst cases of animal neglect I have ever seen, and I've been doing this all my life. Adams took in 4 of the equine and experts and expects to spend thousands of dollars on each one of on the weekends ahead. So that's more information on that. Meanwhile, the Animal Welfare Alliance of Rutherford has been created to develop a united front against animal cruelty. Paola Hayes, a Rutherford County farmer living in Green Hill community, is heading up the group. Concerned citizens can contact her through her personal Facebook page until an online site can be developed for AWAR, A-W-A-R, Animal Welfare Alliance of Rutherford County. Daily Courier is also reporting good news. Bypass project officially begins today. Road project that has been talked about for decades is about to begin. Today, the official start date for the U.S. Highway 221 bypass around Rutherford. After many years of a laborious planning process, the 4-lane divided highway will begin north of R.S. Central High School and eventually connect with the southern section of Highway 221. The road will have a super street design similar to the southern section and have grade separated control access, interstate style. New exits will be created at U.S. Highway 64 and also at Charlotte Road in Rutherford. The headquarters for the project is a former real estate office in Ruth. The building was buzzing Thursday as workers were putting in final touches on the building, transforming it into a construction office. The phase that starts today will include the northern half of the project, ending at U.S. Highway 74. This section, according to Mooneyham, Nathan Mooneyham, who is the construction engineer, said that it will cost approximately $105 million. Funding for this section was allocated in 2015 and was originally slated to begin 2020. The final section in Rutherford County was funded in 2017 and is due to begin construction in 2028. Manufacturers can contribute to delays. They say they are glad to see construction finally beginning. In planning for the Rutherford bypass, 281 individual parcels of land were acquired by DOT. Some people were happy about that, some were not. Some say the highway will not be good for downtown and will take traffic away. Others take a different view and say now is the time to capitalize on new opportunities work to make downtown more appealing for businesses and visitors and make the entrances into downtown attractive. Politicians and civic leaders and economic development officials say that transforming Highway 221 into a modern four-lane highway, including the Rutherford bypass, is part of a larger strategic corridor vision to connect Interstate 85 and Interstate 40. This, they say, will increase the effect and the efficient flow of goods and people and increase opportunity for economic development in Rutherford County. He noted that as a result of new highway, some property near the bypass will be opened up to industrial development. The town, he said, Mayor Jimmy Dancy talking, the mayor said the town has been working with DOT throughout the lengthy planning process. Local officials have had input on things like installation of noise walls and enhanced designs on bridges. Over the last several weeks and months, Rutherfordton residents can expect to see more Wright construction vehicles. Workers will be seen preparing land, clearing more trees. Officials say DOT will provide ample public notice about when there will be some temporary road closures to minimize the inconvenience as much as possible. Construction of the Rutherford bypass is expected to be completed by 2026. That's good news. There'll be a lot of aggravation for many of it when you have to bypass and detour and hold up on traffic, those kind of things. But anytime there is progress, that's going to take place. We're so glad we're finally going to get to the modern era when we have interstate transportation from interstate to interstate will be considered a viable part of economic growth and development here. 60 minutes past 8 o'clock.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continuing to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
It's that time again, time to get the flu vaccines. And Smith Drugs in Forest City has the flu vaccinations available. Walk-ins Monday through Friday and Saturdays by appointment. And Smith Drug is asking all their Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers to call if you need any help with registering your recall devices. Just call the Home Medical Department for any help or with questions at 828-245-4591. And Smith Drugs has the Moderna and Pfizer initial shots and the boosters. They also have the flu vaccines at Smith Drugs of Forest City.
Law enforcement is a tough job. Hello, I'm Theo, and I'm running for sheriff. I bring 20-plus years of experience. I'm the only candidate for sheriff that has served as a state trooper and federal agent. I would like to bring that experience into the county I love and want to protect. I am a tough-on-crime law enforcement officer, and when elected, I am committed to shutting down the drug houses and making our county safe for our kids and grandkids again. I would like the opportunity to meet you and answer any questions you have. Let's win this battle together. Vote for Theo for Sheriff, Tuesday, May 17th. Paid for by Steve Theodoropoulos, Republican for Sheriff.
Hey, listen, have you had your opportunity yet to go to Scrappy's Food and Fuel to have a meal? I wish you'd do that, either breakfast, lunch, or afternoon snack, or evening. Do yourself a favor and stop by Scrappy's Food and Fuel. I know you're gonna like it. I know you're gonna like the food. I know you're gonna like the people who are running it because they're really nice people. If you enjoy a great hot dog or hand-breaded chicken tenders and onion rings or maybe a big old juicy hamburger, then your next stop should be Scrappy's Food and Fuel. Now, full breakfast going on right now, as a matter of fact. They serve breakfast from 6 until 2 and Saturday 7 until 2. And those hot handmade biscuits are ready as early as 6 o'clock. So if you're an early riser, want to get some of those hot handmade biscuits there, go by Scrappy's. Otherwise, you can go out and enjoy a meal anytime. The store is open 8 p.m. Monday morning through Saturday for your favorite snacks, open till 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday for your favorite snacks and gasoline fill-ups. Scrappy's Food and Fuel is on the corner of Chase High Road and Highway 221, right just below Floyd Street Baptist Church. Scrappy's Food and Fuel, locally owned and operated. I wish you'd give them a try. I know you're going to like it. All right, some other sheriff's report coming up here in just a few moments. But quickly, keep in mind the folks over in Ukraine, people in Asheville gathered Saturday afternoon in support of Ukraine as Russians' incursion into the sovereign nation hits close to home for many. There are many people in the Asheville area as well as here, no folks over there. Yeah, we have missionaries from right here in Rutherford County over there Ukraine is thousands of miles away, but folks gathered to show their support and solidarity for the people of Ukraine, many of them having relatives there, even as Russia's invasion continues. Ella Pavlik, who said, my dad, his wife, and my baby brother, who is 5, had to sleep in the basement tonight because they heard sirens, and they're over there. She said her aunt is near Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. She's in direct danger right now because Kiev is a primary goal of Putin. Putin is trying his best to take over that country, just to show his power, I guess, because he is that kind of despot. Everybody has to get involved because Putin is not a president; he's a dictator. Pavlik said, and not only Ukraine suffering right now, but Russian citizens who are protesting the war are also in protest. They rally combined call for peace and prayer over Ukraine as well as support for the country. I don't know of any organized prayer group organized here in the county to do that, but if anybody would like to do that or have an organized group, or you can pray privately in your own home, in your own church group, in the early hours of the morning, billows of smoke could be rising from several major Ukrainian cities that Russia is trying to take over. Now, all they're asking is for your support and your prayers, and in some cases, they were asking for financial help because some of the banks are being closed. They can't get their money out. They're driven to their knees in prayer, and innocent civilians watching terror as their country is invaded. Here's some of the things, 5 ways you can pray for Ukraine. You pray for the people of Ukraine. Pray for wisdom for world leaders as they respond to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Pray that churches and Christian ministries in Ukraine will be equipped and ready to help in the event of a humanitarian emergency. Pray for a change of heart for Russian leaders, that they would turn from war and aggression to choose peace. And pray for peace and the expansion of freedom. And pray for peace in Ukraine and throughout Europe. Pray that plans intended for evil would be thwarted. Pray for the expansion of freedom around the world. Those are something we all can do, and I challenge you to do that. Officer King was with us earlier this morning, gave us a report from the weekend and sheriff's activities, and here it is.
In the past 48 hours, Sheriff's Department responded to 313 calls for service. There were 21 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 153 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Daniel Matos from Hunting Drive in Rutherford reported larceny from a motor vehicle. Carol McHenry from Gold Medallion Drive in Ballstick reported larceny of a motor vehicle. Margaret Rollins of Rome Court in Morrisboro reported larceny of motor vehicle parts. And Alvin Yelton from Eastview Drive in Ballstick reported obtaining property by false pretense. On our arrest reports, Michael Young from Hines Road in Morrisboro was arrested and charged with possession of a stolen motor vehicle, received a $10,000 unsecured bond. Amanda Mann from Raven Lane in Forest City was arrested and charged with possession of a stolen motor vehicle and simple possession of a Schedule III controlled substance, received a $10,000 unsecured bond as well. Jimmy Robinson from Aldrich Drive in Chesney was arrested, served with a failure to appear, and also served with a probation violation, received a $500 secured bond. Joshua Jackson from Hogan Road in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Christian Weathers from High Peak Drive in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on a felony, received a $10,000 secured bond. Floyd Tate from Farmside Drive in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Christina Crosby, listed as homeless, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, was charged with possession of a stolen motor vehicle and felony flee to elude with a motor vehicle. No bond listed on that one. Robert Owensby from Williams Road in Rutherford was served with a warrant for communicating threats and second-degree trespass, received a written promise to appear in court. Gary White from White Drive in Rutherford was served with a failure to appear, received a $10,000 secured bond. Anthony Melton from McSwain Road in Forest City was served with 3 counts of failure to appear on felony and 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $60,000 secured bond. Christine Weber from Cove Road in Rutherford was served with a warrant for second-degree trespass. No bond listed on that one. David Hollifield from Piney Mountain Road in Ellenboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 secured bond. William Barnard from Crestview Street in Rutherford was served with 3 counts of failure to appear on the felony and 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor. Received a $22,500 secured bond. And a Catherine Roof from Elk Drive in Ellenboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor and received a $500 secured bond. And that's all we have for today.
Detroit's first win over the Hornets in nearly 4.5 years. Detroit had lost 15 straight to Charlotte since its last win on October 18th of 2017. Charlotte got 33 points from Terry Rozier and 29 points and 10 boards from Miles Bridges. The Hornets, meanwhile, fall to 0-6 in overtime this season. On the ice, Tuovo Teravainen had a goal and an assist, while Sebastian Aho also scored for the Hurricanes, who won their 5th straight by beating the Edmonton Oilers 2-1 yesterday at PNC Arena in Raleigh. The Canes appeared to be skating toward an easy game. They scored twice over a 5-minute span in the first period, but Canes head coach Rod Brindamore said Edmonton played tight and didn't go away.
It's crazy how that happens, right? Like, playing pretty well, that would have been, they had the same thing happen early in the game. Might have been different if they get it. So I guess those kind of cancel out. And then there wasn't a ton of grade A opportunities. There was a bunch of almost. Like, you could really feel the way they play it with those guys. Man, they're a handful for sure. But I thought we had a good effort again and like the result.
Today is the deadline set by Major League Baseball for a new collective bargaining agreement to be reached with the Players Association in order for the regular season to start on time, which would be March 31st. The league has been locked out since the last CBA expired at the beginning of December. This is NCN Sports.
If the power goes out for your business, are you prepared with a backup? Without electricity, security systems go down, refrigerated items spoil, and customers are turned away. In other words, your business loses money. Control your power. Control your business with a Generac automatic standby generator. Alternative Power is North Carolina's Generac generator experts. In fact, all Alternative Power does is provide backup power. Financing options are available. See more at alternativepower.com.
Or someone you know has been the victim of a crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Services is here to provide support. The office provides a range of free, confidential services to help you regain yourself, receive compensation for damages incurred, protect yourself and your family, and move beyond the stigma of being victimized. Visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4victims.
Sepp Straka was able to capture the PGA's Honda Classic despite trailing by 5 strokes entering the final round Sunday. He's the first Australian winner in PGA Tour history after firing a 4-under 66 that left him 10 under for the tournament. Shane Lowry shot a third straight 67 but fell 1 shot back. First-round leader Kurt Kitayama was alone in third at 8 under. Top 25 college hoops action on Sunday. Illinois still had a decent shot at grabbing the number 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament. 15th-ranked Illinois outscored Michigan 93-85. Elsewhere, 14th-ranked Houston got past SMU 75-61. And number 21 UConn shot 11 for 20 from beyond the arc in an 86-77 win over Georgetown. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
We'll continue to watch for a few spots of patchy fog, and we are going to see that clear out very quickly. And sunshine will be in full effect for today. It's also going to be a little bit milder out there. Heading into the low to upper 50s for much of the area. Some spots to the south could reach the lower 60s, with highs tomorrow in the low to upper 60s. We're talking about the 70s by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Sunny and clear skies throughout today. Right now we are up to 33, climbing all the way to 59 in sunny skies with just a light wind, about 5 miles per hour. Then tonight we're dropping back to mostly cloudy skies, and tonight's temperature around 34 and light wind. Beautiful spring-like weather here this week as we enjoy the sun most every day all week long. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherford, serving the foothills of the Carolinas from 100.9 FM, 590 AM. It's 8:30. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, and with the program this morning is Jessica Farmer.
Good morning, and welcome to our Word of Faith radio program. My name is Jessica Farmer, and it's good to be with you this morning. And thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate that. And we just love coming and opening our heart to you and sharing the good news of the gospel. My heart and my eyes have been towards, in the scripture, one of the greatest kings that Israel has ever known. And what made him so great is his heart towards God. And it's David. And David had such a heart towards God and God's ways and God's word, a longing and a love for God's word and God's ways, that God said in the scriptures that he is a man after my own heart. So I've been thinking, I want God to be able to say that about me. And I want to be able to have that heart that just so loves and longs for God. And probably the best description and the fullest understanding of David's heart can be gained through one of the longest books, or the longest book in the Bible, chapter in the Bible, and that's Psalms 119. And I have been having this before my heart and before my eyes for, a couple weeks now, and it's just been really teaching me and going. I just want it to go so deep in my heart, and I wanted to share it with you today. And we'll just start right out in verse 1 in Psalm 119, verse 1. It says, "Blessed and happy and fortunate to be envied are the undefiled and the upright, the truly sincere and blameless in the way of the revealed will of God, who walk and order their conduct and conversation in the law of the Lord," the whole of God's revealed will. And one of the things, if you search out his life, that David did is inquire and seek God in everything he did. There were one or two exceptions that did really get him in trouble. Yet God still said that about him, because even though he fell and even though he sinned, he went straight back to the heart of God and sought forgiveness and sought right standing with God. And look here at these words. I want to be blessed, and I know you do. I want to be happy. And this shows us how right here. The upright and the undefiled and the truly sincere are those who are happy. And there's so much in our life that just can distract us and get us to look in this direction and get us to look in that direction, where we can have a heart that's really divided and interests that are really divided. And in the book of James, it tells us that if we seek God and we ask something of God, and then we waver and we doubt, and our heart and our mind are in this direction and that direction, it says don't expect that kind of a person will receive anything from God. Because being as he is a man of two minds, he's dubious, he's undecided and irresolute about what he thinks, feels, and decides, is what the scripture says. And I certainly do not want to be that way in my life. I certainly want to be truly sincere, truly with all my whole heart. And that's one thing that David talks so much about in the book of Psalms here. He talks so much about having a heart, having his whole heart in what he's doing, loving God and his precepts with his whole heart. And that's something that you don't see around you. You don't see, people who just love Jesus with all their heart. And I want that for my life. What does that mean? Well, that's what we need to ask God. How does that affect and apply to my life? That's what we need to see. And the scriptures so illuminate that for us. In the words that David used as we read through the book of the chapter, Psalm 119, the words that he used can pierce our heart, go into our heart, and illuminate places that we do walk with God just like David did, and eliminate places we don't. And those are the things that we need to cry out for God to change. We want to be truly sincere and undefiled and blameless. But it says in the way of the revealed will of God. How are you and I going to know what the way of God's revealed will is unless we cry out to him? We're simply not. Even if you read the scripture, you can just read it and it just can be black and white words on a paper. And, I've heard so many people share with me how, I try to read the Bible. It doesn't make sense, or I read the Bible and I can't believe that. I had someone tell me recently, when you share on the radio that, Jesus is coming back for a bride, without spot, wrinkle, or blemish, I just can't believe that. I just cannot, so to speak, wrap my mind around that. Well, if you read this Bible and you just cry out to him and you just realize, I don't know, apart from Jesus, I don't know anything. And you just totally humble yourself and open your ears and open your heart to hear from God, he will illuminate it to you. You will begin to understand the way of the revealed will of God, for that's what it means. God reveals and illuminates not only the scriptures, but his voice in our everyday life. And that way we want to walk in, and that way only. When God reveals his will, we want to stick to that. And it says in the law of the Lord, in the whole of God's revealed will. We don't want to pick and choose what we like, what the preacher says. We don't like what the preacher says. We don't like what the word says. We do like what the word says. I want to walk in that, but that seems a little tough. That seems a little hard to bear. We don't want to be that way. We want to walk in the whole, everything that God speaks to us in the scriptures. There was parting from Jesus and his teachings in John chapter 6, when Jesus came to them and he said, eat of my flesh. No one who doesn't eat of my flesh and drink of my blood will live forever. We want to do that. But those people said, that's a hard saying. Who can be expected to hear that? And much of the time when it feels like that, we just have not been illuminated. They didn't have any idea what Jesus was speaking about. Their mind got in the way, that mind of the flesh, instead of having an open heart to say, Jesus, what do you mean? He did, and he would have explained it to them clearly. What he meant was appropriate my life. Let me be a part of every area of your life. And that's what we want today. We want to let Jesus begin to do that work in our heart where we say, Jesus, help me. Help me understand. Help me understand what I'm reading in this scripture. Help me know your way for my life. And that's what David did. You can hear it through what he wrote. It is so powerful, the whole of God's revealed will. Verse 2 says, blessed, happy, fortunate to be envied are those who keep his testimonies. And once we know what God's revealed will is, once we know what his will is for our life, once we know what this scripture says, we're going to be blessed only if we keep it, if we hold to it, hold fast to it. And that's a work that God wants to do in our lives. None of us, in and of ourselves, can keep every jot and tittle of the law. We just can't. We're not able. God knew that when he wrote it. And he knew that when he sent Jesus, his son, to die on the cross, to be the propitiation, to be the atonement for our sin, to be that work in our heart, to bring us into that place where we could walk in it. And you and I today, if we sought God in every little detail of our lives, to ask him what his will is, to cry out to him for every need we have, we would fulfill every jot and tittle of the law if we obeyed what Jesus told us. We want today and the everyday here going forward, we want to keep his testimonies. You're blessed if you keep his testimonies. You're blessed if you seek and inquire of him and if you crave him with your whole heart. And there's many things in this life the devil throws in our face and throws in our face to crave. Look at this. You want this. You like this. This is better. It's a better way to live. That's too hard. You don't want to live like this. No, it's not truth. None of it's truth. The only power over you the devil has is if you give your will to him, because he has deceived you. He is a liar. There is no truth, it says in John 8. There is no truth in him. He's the father of all lies. All he can do and all he will do is try to deceive you. But the Spirit of God in us is greater, it says, than he that is in that world. It's greater. And all it takes is just a humility to say, Jesus, I need you. I can't get through this. I don't understand this. I can't do it without you. Jesus and God are looking for that humility and that submission in our heart. And in Hebrews 2, it tells us Jesus runs to that cry. It's that cry right there that he's looking at. It's that cry that I want you to hear in David's life and in David's heart. It's that cry that was in everything that he wrote. And it was in everything that he did. Even when he fell and he stumbled. And we could see, you can look in the scriptures, search it out yourself. He did some pretty serious things. And there were consequences. Indeed, there were consequences. But he reached out to God. He sought God, even in the midst of those things. You can read that in his heart through the book of Psalms. In the midst of those things, he sought out God. He craved for God with his whole heart. You know, so many people crave today things that are just so cheap and worthless and meaningless. Oh, I can't wait to, get in front of that TV and watch that Super Bowl. What is there any meaning or any good that ever comes from it? That movie, I can't wait. No, we're going to be blessed in our life if we seek after and if we crave God and his ways and his word with all our heart. And Jesus will meet you at every little step you take towards him. He'll meet you and he'll begin to do that work in your heart. And I know that as you study out the scriptures, David spent many, many days and years in that little sheepfold, being faithful to what God asked him to do. He was the youngest and the least in the estimation of man and anyone in his family. But yet day after day, after day after day, after day after day, he sought God in that sheepfold. He was faithful to what God gave him to do. And all the while, singing praises to God, crying out, as it shows us here in Psalm 119, craving God with his whole heart. And God used him mightily as the greatest king that Israel ever knew. And his son right in there behind him. Except his son did not keep the same heart, because his son did not keep the testimonies of God. And in the end, we see that Solomon went after the gods of about 1,000 wives and concubines, when God distinctly in his word forbade them to marry, to go after the women of the world. He didn't keep to God's testimonies. And that's what we want to do today. That's what was in David's heart. Even if he fell from it, he went straight back to it. These people who crave after you and seek after you with their whole heart, they do no unrighteousness, no willful wandering from his precepts. They walk in your ways. And in the book of 1 John, it tells us, and this is right where we should live. It says no one, in chapter 3, verse 8, no one who commits and practices sin, evil doing. Let me start over. It says, but he who commits sin, who practices evil doing, who wanders and deviates from God's testimonies, is of the devil. He takes his character from the evil one. For the devil has sinned and violated God's law from the beginning. And that's the reason the Son of Man was made manifest and visible, was to undo and loosen and dissolve the works of the devil. He can do that for you. But no one born and begotten of God deliberately, knowingly, and habitually practices sin. For God's nature abides in the person who's born again, the person who craves God and seeks God and inquires of God with their whole heart. His principle of life, his divine sperm, that's what Jesus was talking about in John chapter 6. His principle of life remains permanently in him. And he cannot practice sin, no, because he's born of God. And it's made clear, it goes on to say, who take their nature from God and who take their nature from the devil by what we do, by what's in our heart, by what we say. And it's made clear in the life of David here. It says, they do no unrighteousness, no willful wandering from his precepts. You've commanded us to keep your precepts, that we should obey them diligently. Oh, that my ways were direct and established, to observe your statutes, hearing, receiving, loving, and obeying. Let those words go in your heart. Oh, that I would hear and receive and love and obey the words that you speak to me through your word, in my heart, through a friend. God has so many ways to get to us. Then I would not be put to shame by failing to inherit your promises. We don't want that to happen to any of us, that we fail to make it to heaven because we would not obey the commandments of God on this earth. I will praise and I will give you thanks with uprightness of heart. When I learn by sanctified experience your righteous judgments, what does that mean? Your decisions against and punishment for particular lines of thought and conduct. That's what David learned in his life. He learned what it meant. He learned what God thought about sin, how God felt about sin and about righteousness. God loves holiness, for God is holiness. He wants us to be holy like he is holy, because he wants to fellowship with us. David goes on to say, I will keep your statutes. Forsake me not utterly. And that really stuck out to me when I read that again this week, because I thought, first of all, that first statement is so powerful, because you and I both can take hold of our will. That's how I say it to you. But what I mean is, you and I can grab hold of ourselves and say, I'm not living this way anymore. I want God. I want to go to heaven with Jesus. I don't want to listen to that devil anymore. He's a liar. He's wrecked and destroyed my life every time I've ever listened to him. And David just, as we say, put his stake in the ground. He said with all his heart, I will keep God's testimonies and his statutes. Oh, forsake me not utterly. And when I read that, that really pierced my heart. Why would David ask God not to forsake him? Well, it just tells me that if I don't keep God's commandments and his statutes, God's presence will leave me. He can forsake me. It's a possibility in my life that I don't ever want to see. I want to learn to crave him more. I want to learn to love him more. And I want to learn to obey him with every fiber of my being and love him with everything I've got. How shall we get there? That's the question. What it says here in the scripture is, how shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed and keeping watch over himself according to your word, conforming his life to it. With my whole heart have I sought you, inquired for you, and a yearning for you. Oh, let me not wander or step aside, either in ignorance or willfully, from your commandments. Cry that out. He'll do that for you. How are we going to cleanse our way? Because you and I both know that our life does not line up with the scriptures as God would have it. And every day of our life can be a proving, a testing, a purifying, a refining, a fine-tuning. Every day of our life, God can bring us closer to Him. And that's what we want. We want to have that heart. Are we perfected? Are we there? Am I there? No. No. Not by a long shot. But we want to have that heart that every day we're striving towards that perfection by striving more and more and crying out more and more to find that way. It says in Acts that He set your boundaries of time, space, where He placed you on this earth, who He placed in your life. He set your boundaries so that He did for every man, soul of man on the face of the earth. Why? So that you would seek after and find God. But it says He's not far from you. He's one cry away. He's one step of humility away. With my whole heart have I sought you, yearning for you. Your word have I laid up in my heart that I might not sin against you. I mean, it goes on and on, this chapter. I mean, in verse 27, it says, make me understand the way of your precepts. You can cry out to God, make me understand, so that I will meditate and talk of your wondrous works. In 38, it says, establish your word and confirm your promise to your servant, which it is for those who reverently and devotedly worship you. Behold, I long, He says, for your precepts. In your righteousness, give me renewed life. Put your word in my heart. It's a taking hold of your will, and it's a surrendering of your life, and it's allowing God to put His word in your heart, and it's putting God's word in your heart. When you read something, or when God speaks in the scriptures, or when God speaks something to you, you say, that's right. You say in your heart, that's the way I want to be. I don't want to live that way anymore. I don't want to live the way I've been living anymore. I want to follow that. Put it in my heart, Jesus. Make it a reality to me, Jesus. Show me how important it is for me to obey that, Jesus. And when you seek after that and you strive after God in that way, He will do it for you. He will begin to work in you. And you'll look back in your life and you'll say, I don't have those same desires. I don't want to seek after those same things. As a matter of fact, that old me is repulsive. I don't even want to think that way. I don't even want to go watch that movie anymore. It doesn't bring me closer to Jesus. I don't want to be around those friends anymore. They don't talk about God. They don't bring me closer to Jesus. And that, my friend, is how God will come back for a bride without spot, wrinkle, or blemish. Because the more you allow God to do that for you, the more you want God to do that for you, until by the time He comes back, He's done a work in your heart. He's done a work in your heart. No man knows the day or the hour. Even the Son does not know. Only the Father. That's what the Scripture teaches us. But every day His trumpet does not sound is mercy in our lives. It's time for you and I to get our priorities straight. Because David says in verse 71, it's good for me that I've been afflicted, that I might learn your statutes. If of all the things that I can think of that I've been through in my life, I can look back now, and going through them, it felt hard. It felt like it was devastating, but I can say it was good for me to go through it so that I could learn God's precepts. It's God's mercy. God's judgment is God's mercy, because He wants us to come to Him. But you see, we've been hard-headed. We've been deceived. But God knows, and only God knows, how to break the power of that in our life and how to bring us into Him. David said that. And we can believe that today. It says, it is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn your statutes. Your law, the law from your mouth, is better for me than thousands of gold and silver pieces. And you can say that in your own heart. Your law from me, your precepts, your commandments, your way is better for me than absolutely anything the devil can dangle in front of my face and tell me I want it and I want it bad. No, his law is better for me than thousands of those things. If I had them all, his law is better. And I've known so many people in my life that have had it all. Money, riches, fame, everything that could come into your mind that the devil could separate you from God and say, you don't want to go to church? You don't want to live that strict lifestyle? No, do what you want to do. I've seen people that had it all and they ended up in a gutter. So close to death, they don't know how they got out. And that's the way it is. The devil wants to bring you that low. Because if you die without repenting, you will burn in an everlasting fire, pit of fire that never ends. And nothing on this earth comes close to the finality that that day will be. When it's over, it's over. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be in that place. I want to love his law. I want to do on this earth what I've been created to do. For your hands have made me, it says, formed me, fashioned me, established me. So give me understanding that I may learn your commandments. God created you. God knows who you are. He knows your name. He knows the hair on your head. He has them numbered. He knows every aspect of your life. He knows your heart. And it's him who can bring you out. All your commandments are faithful and they are sure. They're faithful. And it says, according to your steadfast love, give me life. And then I will keep your commandments from your mouth. Your word is a light, a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. I mean, it goes on and on. I've cried with my whole heart to you. Hear me, O Lord. I will keep your statutes. There it is again. Hearing, receiving, loving, and obeying. Cry this out. Establish my steps. Direct them by means of your word. Let me not go down to iniquity, and let it not have dominion over me. Your righteous testimonies are everlasting, and your decrees are binding to eternity. What God says, if we obey it, it'll bind us to heaven. They're binding to eternity. Give me understanding, and I shall live. Give me discernment and comprehension, and I shall not die. Your testimonies have I kept. Hearing, receiving, loving, and obey them. I love them exceedingly. You and you only do I desire. It says, I've cried to you, save me, that I may keep your testimonies. And that's the way we need to have a heart today. There are things that in your life and in mine that God needs to save us from so that we can keep his testimonies. There are things that have bound us in cords and chains of bondage in our lives. Things people have said to you that have formed your personality. Things like, you'll never amount to anything. You'll never make it. Things you've done that all you can see is shame for. Deliver me. Save me. He will. So that I can obey your testimonies and your precepts, and so that I can live. Go back and read the chapter of Psalm 119. Every word of it is so powerful. And if I had probably 4 programs, we couldn't get through it all and get everything in our hearts that we would want to. It's so powerful. And it does such a work in our heart to read his testimonies through the scriptures. Cry out to him because he'll change us. Thank you so much for listening today. We really appreciate it, and we want you to know Word of Faith loves you, Rutherford County. We pray for you, and God, we want God to be with you and to encourage you and comfort you today with His testimonies and precepts. We're here with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 to 9, and you can tune in then, or you can go to our website, wordoffaithfellowship.org, and be able to view our other programs, Powerful Testimonies, Words, Scriptures God's given us, Teachings God's given us. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
These troops could enter the city at any moment. Many residents now taking up arms. Ukrainian citizens are showing resistance around the country. In Berdyansk, which is occupied by Russian forces, locals came out facing a Russian tank, singing the Ukrainian national anthem.
The UN says nearly 500,000 people have now fled Ukraine. ABC's Matt Gutman has been with some of them in Lviv.
Thousands packed into this tunnel beneath the Lviv railway station in western Ukraine. Closer to the Polish border and to safety, refugees dragging what they could, whipped by wind and snow. Traffic snarled for over 15 miles. The UN telling us at least 422,000 people have fled the violence so far.
ABC's James Longman is in Moscow, where those stiff economic sanctions caused the value of the ruble to plummet. The central bank raising interest rates to 20% to try and stop the free fall.
Russia is becoming increasingly isolated. The entire European Union has now banned Russian aircraft from its airspace. A number of airlines have suspended services entirely, and that is why the United States has told all American citizens to leave here immediately.
A new UN report on climate change concludes its effects are mounting so quickly they could overwhelm the world's ability to adapt. In the words of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the world is getting clobbered by climate change. Jury selection begins shortly in the first trial of a January 6th rioter. Prosecutors say Guy Wesley Rafid is charged with taking a gun to the Capitol, interfering with police, and threatening his teenage children if they reported him. You're listening to ABC News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-533-6605 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605.
New predictions on where the economy may go this year.
The National Association for Business Economics predicts economic growth will slow a bit this year.
Analysts really saw growth coming in the first quarter of this year a lot softer than they did last round.
But NABE's Brent Meyer says members aren't worried.
Year-over-year GDP growth was up 5.5% this year, so coming off of that to something around 2.5% to 2.9% this year, it's certainly not recessionary territory by any stretch of the imagination.
Daria Aldinger, ABC News.
The driver of a tractor-trailer filled with mail rescued after the truck went off a bridge into a river near Boston. The driver managed to climb on top while the truck was in the water. An investigation underway south of Minneapolis after a home exploded, killing a 20-year-old who was house-sitting at the time. More talks to start an hour to try to come up with a new collective bargaining agreement between Major League Baseball and the Players Union. ESPN's Jesse Rogers in Jupiter, Florida says
the two sides negotiated inside Roger Dean Stadium for more than 6 hours on Sunday, and though one source said the talks were productive on a variety of subjects, nothing really got accomplished. It means to meet the deadline, almost every single core economic issue at stake in the CBA would have to be worked out in the final day.
The league says if they cannot reach a deal by the end of the day today, it will have to start canceling regular season games. This is ABC News.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Cynthia and Ed.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, out of the blue, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn or just stay at the stop sign. She wasn't even really sure where she was at. She was very concerned. It was very unsettling for her.
It's very important for you to talk to someone about it, to bring the family in on it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
From ABC Sports, this is Rich Cantu. Just when it appeared the latest Mavericks-Warriors matchup would end much like their most recent head-to-head in a blowout, superstar Luka Doncic had another plan.
Luka, 8 to shoot, 1:13 remaining along the right side, on the drive, and all the way home, and he lays it up and in.
The call on KEGL, Doncic finished with a double-double, 34 points, 11 boards, while Spencer Dinwiddie added 24 points. Dallas used a 23-1 fourth-quarter run to erase a 21-point deficit and stun Golden State 107-101. It may only be his second game with the 76ers, but James Harden looks to have settled in quite nicely with his new team.
James with 6 seconds to the left side, still dribbling, step back, three-point shot in the air, bang!
On WPEN, Harden powered Philly with a triple-double, 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 16 assists. The Sixers topped the hapless Knicks 125-109. This is ABC Sports. In other NBA action, the Jazz are quietly playing themselves back into contention in the Western Conference.
Conley will pass over to the far right side as Donovan Mitchell, 5 to shoot. He's on the right hash. Against Bridges, gets to the three-point line. Fading three at the horn. Banks in.
On ESPN Radio, Donovan Mitchell led all scorers with 26 points. Utah shot over 42% from long range en route to a 118-114 decision over the Suns, their 8th win in their last 9. Today is the self-imposed deadline for baseball team owners to get a new contract with locked-out players in order to start the regular season on time. If that doesn't happen, a week's worth of games would be canceled just for starters. After a 7th day of negotiations Sunday, a source told ESPN both sides still remain far apart on a new deal. ESPN's Jesse Rogers.
One source said the talks were productive on a variety of subjects. Nothing really got accomplished. It means to meet the deadline, almost every single core economic issue at stake in the CBA would have to be worked out in the final day.
Both sides will meet for an 8th day of bargaining this morning. College hoops, number 15 Illinois used a complete team effort to bounce back from a disappointing loss earlier in the week.
Curbelo gets a pick, rolls right, little give and go to Coburn with the hammer.
On Learfield, Kofi Coburn was one of 3 Illini in double figures scoring, finishing with 27 points. Illinois outlasted Michigan 93-85. This is Rich Cantu, ABC Sports.
Tax refunds are on the way, and if you're in the market for a new vehicle, stop by A1 Auto Sales and Service on South Main in Rutherford. All vehicles have clean titles. They search history reports, do title brand searches. They offer a 120-point inspection check. Plus, all vehicles are researched before they're even put on the sales lot. A1 offers outside financing and buy here, pay here. They offer discounts to seniors, military, education, and healthcare workers, and all city, county, and federal employees. Mondays only, bring your church bulletin for a special discount from Ryan. A1 Auto Sales and Service Center on South Main Street in Rutherford. Stop in or give them a call, 828-829-5877.
We'll continue to watch for a few spots of patchy fog, and we are going to see that clear out very quickly. And sunshine will be in full effect for today. It's also going to be a little bit milder out there. Heading into the low to upper 50s for much of the area. Some spots to the south could reach the lower 60s with highs tomorrow in the low to upper 60s. We're talking about the 70s by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
WCAB